From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Ayotunde Balogun. Hello and welcome tonight. Suspected gunmen abduct numerous JAM candidates from a Benue Links vehicle near Otukpo. Police confirm 14 victims, while eyewitnesses report 17 students seized during their exam commute. Armed Forces graduate 744 former extremists reaffirm commitment to national security through combined kinetic and non-kinetic strategies across Nigeria. The Policy and Legal Advocacy Center plaque urges the National Assembly to fast-track passage of the Special Seats Bill for Women and other constitution amendment bills before 2027 campaigns begin. And President Donald Trump announces a 10-day ceasefire agreement reached between Israeli and Lebanese leaders to halt ongoing hostilities.
On business news, House of Representatives approves over 248 billion naira 10-year debt restructuring plan for Ikeja, Kano and Just Electricity Distribution companies in efforts to erase mounting liabilities and stabilize Nigeria's electricity market.
On sports news tonight, World Athletics reject an application by Turkey to switch the allegiance of Nigerian sprinter Favour Ofili, dealing a significant blow to the athlete's proposed nationality change ahead of the 2028 Olympic Games.
And from the nation's capital, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike denies revoking license of Rainbow Event Center, venue used for the ADC National Convention.
Begin on a rather sad note where gunmen suspected to be kidnappers have abducted some 17 candidates of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board examinations after attacking a Benue Links commercial bus in Benue State. The incident occurred between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. on Wednesday, April the 15th, along the Otukpo burnt brick axis in Otukpo, when the assailants reportedly ambushed the vehicle, robbed the passengers and forced several victims into the bush. Eyewitnesses say the bus was carrying about 18 passengers, mostly young candidates who were traveling to Otukpo for their UTME examinations scheduled for the following day. Now, 2 occupants, including the driver and 1 passenger, managed to escape. The general manager of the Benue Links, Mr. Alexander Fanafa, has confirmed the attack, adding that the driver is currently being questioned by the police for allegedly violating the company's safety policy restricting night travel beyond 6 p.m. In Kwara State, terrorists numbering about 10 on Wednesday evening stormed Odore community in Isin local government area of the state, where they abducted 5 residents of that town. According to a resident of the town who spoke on condition of anonymity, the terrorists went straight to the residence of one Yusuf Yunusa, a prominent politician and school proprietor, around 11 p.m., forced their way into the building and whisked him away at gunpoint. The terrorists also abducted 4 other victims while on their way out of the community. Attention had since gripped residents of Odore community as a result of this development. While the Kwara State Police Command is yet to respond to the inquiry about the incident, a senior police officer at Isin headquarters of Isin local government confirmed the incident. Once again, Nigeria's armed forces is reaffirming the commitment of the military to secure the nation through both kinetic and non-kinetic avenues. Speaking in Gombe at the graduation of the ceremony of the 744 former extremists referred to as clients of Operation Safe Corridor, the Director of Special Operations at the Defense Headquarters, Rear Admiral Kabiru Tanimu, who represented the Chief of Defense Staff, says the ceremony is a commitment of progress, a demonstration of national resolve, and a testimony to the power of strategic thinking in addressing the human dimensions of conflict.
The best defender is
These
can best be described as a combined graduation ceremony, as 3 batches of the deradicalization, rehabilitation and reintegration program of Operation Safe Corridor take their exit from the camp at Malam Sidi in Gombe State. De-radicalizing repentant criminal elements with the aim of reintegration into the society is at the heart of the Operation Safe Corridor initiative.
These clients have undergone a comprehensive program that includes psychosocial support, vocational training, religious reorientation, civic education, and behavioral transformation.
The commandant of the camp provides an overview of the program, just as the initiative received support from stakeholders.
During the program, clients were taken through various therapeutic intervention and engagements. The physio-spiritual counselors worked diligently to counter the false ideology and narrative of the Christian and Islamic religion that had been hitherto impacted on the clients.
For graduates, the real test of this program begins upon leaving the camp. The skills and livelihood starter kits acquired, whatever the trade, must be applied consistently as graduates look to the next chapter.
This program reflects the federal government commitment, peace building by Mr. President, and the deradicalization, rehabilitation, and reintegration repentant individual into the society.
The need for a deliberate strategy to promote peace is highlighted.
Nigeria's firm belief that while kinetic operations are necessary to neutralize threats, lasting peace can only be achieved when we address the underlying drivers of deradicalization, disengagement, and disintegration.
With the graduation of 744 clients armed with various vocational skills, the DRR camp of Operation Safe Corridor has graduated 3,325 clients since its inception over a decade ago.
Now to politics. The Labour Party is calling for the reversal of the transfer of the resident electoral commissioner for Osun State, Mr. Mutiu Adegoke. Now, the party's national vice chairman, Southwest, Mr. Abayami Arabambi, made the call during a press conference in Abuja. Mr. Arabambi said the reversal is necessary to restore electoral integrity in the Southwest ahead of the governorship election in the state.
Let me speak frankly to you as a citizen who, despite not being a member of your party, recognizes the developmental stride of your administration. The Southwest is your geopolitical zone. It is your own. I have no doubt that with fair and credible election, you can secure nothing less than 4 to 5 million votes from the Southwest in 2027 general election. However, issues like this, the blatant manipulation of reg posting, the imposition of retired and compliance officers like Toyin Babalola, the removal of a man without due process, this action will act as an impediment to your success. Direct Professor Joash Amopiton to immediately return by Mutiu Adegoke to Osun State as the duly appointed resident electoral commissioner. His removal was unlawful, unconstitutional, and without due process. It must be reversed without delay. Secondly, remove Toyin Babalola from any role in Osun State or any other state. She should be returned to her retirement. The fact that she has managed to climb back into INEC as a rec after retiring as a director is a scandal that demands independent investigation.
Our reactions have continued to trail the conduct of the African Democratic Congress state congresses in Adamawa, despite court orders directing all parties to maintain status quo pending the determination of cases before the court. And meanwhile, one of the governorship aspirants, Mr. Maurice Vunobolki, has resigned from the party, alleging imposition of candidates.
Members of the African Democratic Congress in Adamawa State have convened this meeting on the heels of the conduct of the National Convention. They are drawn from all the wards and local government areas in the state as the leader of the party appeals for calm, stressing the need to adhere to the rule of law and respect for judicial processes.
Binani is only going by the rule of law. I cannot reject anything that has to do with anybody in Adamawa State, and my reason is simple. In the last election, the turnout of people, the yearning of people for Binani to get the seat of governor, I am sure a lot of them are also part of that group.
Other speakers allege irregularities during the conduct of the state congress and urges the national leadership to address the issues.
The state leadership team, headed by Sadiq Tassin, vehemently refused to honor the agreement and opted for contest because they have sealed their deal with the Congress committee that came from Abuja to sideline the party and the Binani bloc from participating in the Congresses. This messy arrangement has grounded the party ADC in the state, coupled with the current court issues at national level.
The only list they wrote is the list that they used there. There's no INEC, no police, no anybody.
The All Progressives Congress in the state is also having its fair share of party crisis, as a governorship aspirant in the state, Mr. Maurice Vonoboki, resigned his membership of the party, alleging plans to impose candidates on the party.
Indications of irregular membership registrations using people's NIN without their consent aim at having a large membership voting population in Yola North and coordinated efforts to influence internal processes unfairly.
The former World Bank project coordinator in the Northeast is yet to decide where he would be pitching his tent ahead of the 2027 election.
More politics this time. The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Professor Nentawe Yilwata, has dismissed concerns that the influx of politicians from opposition parties could trigger internal crisis within the ruling party. Speaking during the media chat with journalists in Abuja, Professor Yilwata expressed confidence in the party's internal structure, insisting that the APC has developed a strong mechanism to manage competing interests among its growing membership.
Following the conclusion of the fourth election national convention of the party, the leadership of the All Progressives Congress is featuring in this media chat with the aim of engendering public accountability and sustained communication of developments within the party.
There were no issues. Politics is about contestation of power.
The national chairman of the party, Professor Nentawe Yilwata, and the national secretary, Mr. Ajibola Bashiru, speak on key party and governance issues.
We implemented a law to the latter. When we had crisis, we withheld, we withdrew, and we set up internal conflict resolution mechanism to resolve the issues. What the presidential team for that, and what the party team for that. So the party normally goes in first. In the can resolve the choice to the national, to the presidential team, and that has helped to resolve all our internal issues to near zero. And we have had decisions at the meeting of the highest decision making of our body, NEC, at least 3 or 4 times. So if a person is sitting down in the confines of Aso Rock Villa to determine for the party, he will not call eminent personalities composed of our NEC to come and take decisions, pass resolutions, and give guidance as to the way forward for our political party.
They also speak on security issues, as well as their relationship with the FCT minister, who's a member of the People's Democratic Party, and their relationship with other opposition political parties.
There's no automatic tickets in our constitution. The constitutional party does not provide for automatic tickets. So the party cannot begin to wishfully promise automatic ticket to the people. The Electoral Act also doesn't provide for automatic tickets, because in all primaries, they must be either by consensus or by direct primaries. So all members of our party will undergo the same process. We used the Electoral Act, our party guidelines, our party constitution to get people to participate in primaries. If you win the primaries, you emerge. And performance simply means that the people must also, your community, your community or your constituency will accept that you have performed.
Of FCT is a member of the Federal Executive Council, and he has responsibility to work in sync with the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Section 5 of the Nigerian Constitution vested the executive power of the Federation in the President, which he can exercise either by himself or through the minister or other officer. So what the power being exercised by the Minister of FCT, Barrister Wiki, is a delegated authority of Minister President, and his mandate is clear.
The party leaders rounded the chat up by calling on state chapters of the party to establish inclusive committees ahead of the state congresses, which will produce the candidates of the party for the 2027 general elections.
In part 2, after the break, the Policy and Legal Advocacy Center plaque urges the National Assembly to fast-track passage of the Special Seats Bill for Women and other constitutional amendment bills before the 2027 campaigns begin. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you have just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Suspected gunmen abduct numerous JAMB candidates from a Benue Links vehicle near Otukpo. Police confirm 14 victims, while eyewitnesses report 17 students seized during their exam commute. Armed Forces graduate 744 former extremists reaffirm commitment to national security through combined kinetic and non-kinetic strategies across Nigeria. Policy and Legal Advocacy Center plaque urges National Assembly to fast-track passage of the Special Seats Bill for Women and other constitutional amendment bills before 2027 campaigns begin. And President Donald Trump announces a 10-day ceasefire agreement reached between Israeli and Lebanese leaders to halt ongoing hostilities. We have more politics. This time, President Bola Tinubu has declared that he will not be intimidated by opposition forces, dismissing them as mere noisemakers with little regard for the rule of law. I was speaking at the State House in Abuja during a meeting with leaders and coordinators of the Renewed Hope ambassadors from all 36 states, led by Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State. President Tinubu also criticized former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, referencing his role in Nigeria's privatization program, which, according to him, led to failed industries such as the Ajaokuta steel. Our State House correspondent, Emperor Sami, tells us more.
Ahead of the 2027 general elections, President Bola Tinubu is meeting leaders and coordinators of the Renewed Hope ambassadors, led by Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State, who is also the national coordinator. The event is attended by Vice President Kashim Shettima, National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, and other party officials, as well as coordinators of the Renewed Hope ambassadors from across the 36 states of the Federation. Assuring the President of the support of the APC governors, Governor Hope Uzodinma says the reforms embarked upon by President Tinubu have impacted positively on the lives of Nigerians, which have endeared him to the people. He briefs the President on progress also made by the Renewed Hope ambassadors ahead of the election.
The lies, distortions, and misinformation that once served as the major weapons of the opposition have significantly diminished in potency because truth is traveling faster and facts are now reaching further. The people are beginning to see that the policy direction of this administration is not accidental. It is coherent, it is courageous, it is reformative, and it is already producing a foundation for sustainable national rebirth.
The APC National Chairman, Professor Nentawe Yilwatda, expresses confidence in the party's capacity to win the 2027 general elections. His position is also re-echoed by some governors attending the meeting.
Excellency, will support you as a party, will stand by you, and will support anything that will provide good governance for Nigeria, of which you are doing.
What is the agenda of the opposition? It's only one. They are not here to contest for election. Let me be very frank with all of you. All of us knows that. That is a fact. The agenda is anarchy. That is opposition.
And the content and quality of these people I'm seeing behind the Excellency gives me comfort that we are really on course.
Addressing the meeting, President Bola Tinubu notes that his renewed hope agenda focuses on bringing succor to Nigerians and that he is not going to back out from pursuing that agenda, even in the face of oppositions.
There's no other way to the path that we embrace to national greatness other than build one nation, one common vision for progress, prosperity of our people. That's what we must do. That's what Renew Hope is all about. They want to scare me off. It's a lie.
The president blames members of the opposition, including former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, for some setbacks witnessed in the country.
No one without history among these calabash. No one without history. The head was the chairman of the Privatization Council of Nigeria. In this country, one time, he privatized the steel industry in Delta. Is it working today? No. No ounce. They privatized Ajaokuta. Is it working today? No. Go on the list. They privatized another man's political party. That one say no.
President Bola Tinubu assures that he remains forward-looking and will continue to deliver on his promises to Nigerians. From the presidential villa, Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
While Nigerians look ahead to the 2027 general elections, the Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, PLAC, is calling on the National Assembly to fast-track the passage of the Special Seats Bill for Women and other key constitution alteration bills before political campaigns for the general elections begin next year. Now, speaking during the Citizens Town Hall on constitutional alteration bills in Abuja, Executive Director of PLAC, Mr. Clement Uwakwa, described the Special Seats Bill as the defining issue of the 10th National Assembly.
Our Constitution.
The Policy and Legal Advocacy Center is hosting this Citizens Town Hall dialogue session on constitution alteration bills to identify the constitutional sections affected and the key objective of the proposed change.
But before we get to engaging
the event theme, Constitution Amendment Proposals Ahead of Legislative Voting, has in attendance the Executive Director of PLAC, former Governor of Sokoto State, lawmakers, civil society members, and human rights advocates, among others.
Join me in welcoming Mr. Clement Uwakwa, Esquire, with a round of applause, please.
In his opening remarks, the Executive Director makes a case on the amendment bill.
Follow from the alteration bills that the National Assembly is currently considering. There are 45 alteration bills that the National Assembly is currently considering. And they span through about 12 areas that we are looking to discussing at this town hall today. Number 1 is electoral reforms, 2 is judicial reforms, 3 is legislature, 4 is inclusive governance, and special seats bill for women, which is actually number 1 in terms of our own work in PLAC, and I think for a lot of us who are in the room today.
According to New Poll survey data on Alteration Bills 2026, State Police Bill have 70% of Nigerian support on establishing state police alongside federal police, 90% on special seats for women, while 87% for party defection.
Special seats for women, there is a sunset clause for 16 years. I think that's over 4 election cycles. Then it will be reviewed. If it has achieved its purpose, we take it out. If it has not, we take it out.
One of such bills is the issue of defection. Now, if you look at the proposal, the Constitution is not very clear on the issue of defection, the procedure to vacate the seat, whether it should be the Speaker or it should be INEC or you have to go to court.
One by one, citizens voiced their options of the constitutional amendment bills.
The president shouldn't be the one to appoint the electoral umpire, the chairman of INEC. I think there should be that process of succession.
South Africa, for instance, is not the president that just appoints the chair of the Electoral Commission. It's a multi-stage process. Through advertisement, a panel made up of independent commissions, and then the process is on.
The Centre is promising to continually advocate the 45 alteration bills to be passed before campaigns start.
Honorable Afam, please, Lois, I don't have to even...
So let's now head to the nation's capital, where Millicent Walker is standing by to give us the latest from our Abuja studios. Hello, Millicent.
Hi, Sunday. Good to see you. Well, we'll begin with the FCT minister's denial that he issued a revocation license of Rainbow Event Centre, the venue of the ADC National Convention, which took place on February the 14th this year. Speaking during an inspection tour of ongoing road projects in Kuje Area Council, Mr. Nyesom-Wike asked the ADC to stop blaming him for their errors, stating that the party is on a path to failure. The minister also called out former Vice President Atiku Abubakar for always criticising the federal government.
The ADC should stop calling other people names. Oh, these are people worried us. No, that's not correct. So they are sure that there's no way ADC will win. How can people make such statements that the minister would deny ADC a place to hold a convention? Then I went and threatened to revoke the license of whatever you guys said, what the Rainbow what. So it's a little unfortunate, but you will see that we will take this to the letter that we'll find out who that interfered, and if there's nobody that interfered, obviously we'll make sure that appropriate sanction is given. So that we don't wake up on early morning and just say the minister did it, FC did it. Why are you afraid of this minister? I mean, for me, it doesn't make sense. If you wrote to us on the 7th, and your convention is on the 14th, now, 8, we didn't reply you. And for example, 9, it didn't say anything. 10, it didn't say anything. 11, it didn't say 12. It's on the 13th you came out to tell the world that we denied you. No, just look at it. Then, on the 14th, oh, FCT said they're going to revoke the license of... How can people tell such lies?
Still ahead on the news at 10, House of Representatives approved 248 billion naira 10-year debt restructuring plan for Ikeja, Kano and Jos electricity distribution companies to ease liabilities and stabilize Nigeria's electricity market. That's on Business News. To join us again. Thanks for joining us. You're watching the news at 10, coming to you live from our studio here in Abuja. Well, let's head to Benin City, Edo State, where efforts to unlock the potential of Nigeria's regions took center stage as the Ministry of Regional Development opened a retreat for its leadership and the 7 regional development commissions. Key speakers at the event say the goal is to promote cooperation and duplication of projects, make development people-driven, and improve efficiency, among others. Our correspondent Jessica Olubushere has more.
Poverty and businesses struggling against...
Day 1 in Benin City kicks off with high-octane strategy as the Ministry of Regional Development launches its leadership retreat. The mission, bridge the gaps between policy and grassroots impact.
Please, a round of applause for Senator Ibizagba as he made his way to the podium. Thank you.
In a pointed wake-up call from Benin City, federal lawmakers are demanding a reality check on governance. The message is clear. Brilliant plans on paper mean nothing if the people do not believe in them.
This retreat is both timely and necessary,
given the evolving development landscape and the urgent need to recalibrate our approaches towards achieving balanced, inclusive, and sustainable growth across our regions. There is an urgent need to improve institutional collaboration and equip these commissions with practical methods to unlock regional potentials through focused dialogue and partnership.
Minister Abubakar Momo is laying down the law for regional growth. In a candid session, he warns that the era of agency rivalry and abandoned projects must come to an end. Describing the Benin retreat as a critical learning curve, the minister identifies 3 among the enemies of progress: project duplication, bureaucratic infighting, and the ghost of uncompleted works.
This retreat is not just another meeting, it is a significant milestone in reaffirming our shared responsibility to transform our regions into zones of prosperity, peace, and opportunity. Each commission represented here today carries a solemn mandate born out of the need to address the historical, social, and economic disparities that threaten the fabric of our national unity.
The Deputy Governor of Edo State, Dennis Idausa, representing Governor Monday Upawulu, says the ongoing retreat is focused on tackling key challenges affecting regional development and economic growth.
The theme, generating fresh ideas to unlock the potentials of the region, is a welcome development in regional transformation. At this point in our history, when Nigeria's development path has been uneven, fresh ideas become incumbent to address these challenges, where some regions boast of modern infrastructure, industrial corridors, and digital connectivity, and others are lagging behind.
Organizers of the retreat say a major expected outcome is the development of a unified national framework for coordinating regional development across Nigeria. Jessica Olubuse, Channels Television News.
Let's touch base in Washington, D.C., where a new institution that could reshape Africa's economy is emerging, as the federal government says it is ready to host the African Monetary Institute, the technical engine for an African central bank and eventually a single continental currency. For a region where cross-border trade is still slowed by 42 currencies and costly payment, the stakes are high, and the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank in charge of monetary policy, Mr. Mohamed Abdullahi, says the establishment of the institute remains pivotal to the growth of the region's economy. Mr. Abdullahi was speaking during a side event at the ongoing IMF World Bank spring meetings. Our correspondent Sarah Chimugo has more.
This meeting is part of efforts towards harnessing the huge potential on the African continent for economic prosperity through the establishment of the African Monetary Institute.
We've all agreed about
For the region's economy, the AMI targets 3 points: transaction costs, resilience, and investment.
Probably what you need is when the stars will align, and perhaps that is now. Right? Perhaps this is that spark that we require, where all the pockets of work that's been done over the last 2 decades will then all of a sudden come together and significantly shorten the journey. Right? So I strongly believe that what we need to focus on is, as much as possible, all the talk has happened. We've all agreed about the need for this. I think the case has been settled. Across the continent, there is a vast agreement on the need for us to come together. We might differ on a few of the details, which hopefully through the intergovernmental process.
The African Monetary Institute was created by African Union in February 2026 as part of Agenda 2063. For West Africa's 400 million population, the countdown to integrate, improve economic growth begins.
The Monetary Institute is not the convergence criteria. So this is a step towards getting there. And what I'm saying is we shouldn't stop and count all the problems without taking the steps, because the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. And remember, one of the key functions of the African Monetary Institute will also be harmonization of statistical and monetary policy frameworks, designing the trans-African automated real-time payment systems, and so many other things that can then bring us to better clarity and in addressing the convergence criteria issues that are often being raised.
There were words of support from both the federal government and heads of the continent's body.
The journey of a thousand miles begins with a one step. And the courage for you to take that first step matters a lot. This is the first step we are taking, and I know in the end we will be able to achieve all that we have in place to show the full integration in Africa.
The vision of the African Monetary Institute is to provide technical and policy foundation for a resilient and integrated African financial system. From Washington, D.C., Sarah Chimugu, Channels Television News.
And from Washington, D.C., is back to Lagos, where Ayatunde has the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you so much, Millicent. And now to the courts, where Justice Jude Onwegbuze of the Federal Capital Territory High Court has issued a warrant of arrest against the former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Farouk, and the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Bashir Nura Al-Khali. Now, the courts issued the arrest warrant over their failure to attend court for their arraignment on a charge linking them to an alleged fraud involving $1.3 million and 746.6 million naira. Justice Onwegbuze issued the arrest warrant while ruling on an ex parte motion filed by the counsel to the EFCC, Mr. Rotimi Jacobs, after the two defendants failed to appear in court for their planned arraignment. The EFCC had filed a 21-count charge against them in which they are accused of offences bordering on criminal breach of trust, abuse of office, fraudulent award of contracts, and diversion of public funds. The commission accused Farouk and Al-Khali of converting $1.3 million meant to be refunded to the ministry by Visual ICT Limited. Now, the funds were said to be excess payments under the National Social Safety Net Coordinating Office program for validating rapid response registered beneficiaries. Justice Onwegbuze subsequently adjourned the case to May the 18th for arraignment. Nigeria's drive to expand its gas infrastructure has received a boost with the groundbreaking of a major processing facility in Delta State. The 200 million standard cubic feet per day gas plant by Southfield Petroleum Limited in Otorogu Ugeli South local government is expected to enhance energy capacity, create jobs, and support economic growth.
The groundbreaking ceremony of the Southfield Petroleum Limited gas processing plant in Otorogu, Delta State, and it's been described as a landmark development for Nigeria's energy sector with significant benefit for the Ugeli community and beyond. The project signals a major investment in gas infrastructure aimed at boosting processing capacity and strengthening the nation's energy security. The event attracted top government officials, industry players, and stakeholders in the oil and gas sector, alongside members of the host community, all gathered to witness the final commencement of the project.
To demonstrate our commitment to Nigeria's just transition plan and nationally determined net zero pathway through production of cleaner energy for domestic and industrial application.
Representing the Delta State Governor, the Commissioner for Oil and Gas reaffirmed the state government's support for investment that drive development and job creation.
The state, through the Ministry of Oil and Gas, provided the needed support, ranging from facilitating the process for the acquisition of the certificate of occupancy and a freedom to operate permit in favor of SPL.
The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil, Heineken Lokobiri, accompanied by other guests, formally performs the groundbreaking ceremony which signals the beginning of operations in the area. The minister says the project aligns with the federal government's gas expansion agenda, aimed at deepening gas utilization across the country.
This is a very, very highly capital-intensive project. So FCDMB, as part of federal government's commitment, decided to invest in this project for the benefit of all Nigerians and for the purpose of ensuring that we have energy that will stimulate industrial growth.
When completed, the plant is expected to significantly increase Nigeria's gas processing output and serve as a catalyst for further investment in the oil and gas industry.
With the supplementary gas treatment plant that we're putting in place, is going to enable us to extract liquid petroleum gas, which is LPG, cooking gas, as some of you will know, and also auto gas for sales directly to the communities around the nation at large.
Stakeholders say the initiative represents another step towards harnessing Nigeria's vast gas resources for national development, while positioning Delta State as a key hub in the country's energy landscape.
Nigeria's industrial landscape is witnessing a boost in global competitiveness as Mangal Industries Limited attains an integrated management system certification, signaling its compliance with global accepted benchmarks in quality, safety, and environmental management. Speaking at the event, Managing Director of the company, Mr. Fahad Mangal, says the certification validates that the company's systems and processes meet rigorous global standards across its operational value chain.
In an era where quality, safety, and environmental responsibility define industrial success, Mangal Industries Limited has achieved a milestone with the attainment of the Integrated Management System ISO certification, signaling compliance with global standards, integrating quality management, environmental sustainability, and occupational health and safety into a single framework.
This milestone is the result of deliberate efforts driven by the leadership of our board and management, and made possible through the dedication of our teams and the support of our partners. It is truly a collective achievement.
Stakeholders say the certification is a step in the right direction for Mangal Industries, giving the company a holistic approach to production and service delivery.
Getting this certification is a reflection of our commitment to achieve quality deliverable. Consistency in our products is we want to reduce redundancy, time wastage, and also environmental sustainability, and also prevent accidents at workplace. So this is the reflection that we are committed to protecting the workers, we are committed to protecting the environment, and we're also committed to ensuring that our customers remain happy at all times.
The certifications are then presented.
We are proud to present to you your ISO 9001 2015 Quality Management System certification. Congratulations.
For Mangal Industries, this milestone will boost its reputation and position it for international partnerships.
We achieve about now 3 different ISOs for quality, which means our cement is quality-wise, worldwide accepted, and also for the environment, we have to abide by it and align with the best practices in terms of the controls, in terms of the measures that we put in place to ensure that the environment, quality, and operations, everything is as per the international standard.
Mangal Industries' latest milestone is expected to be a catalyst for the growth and competitiveness of the company.
Business News is up next with Dominic Iwiwo.
Thank you, Ayotunde. And on business news, the House of Representatives Public Accounts Committee (PAC) has approved a 248.64 billion naira financial relief package and a 10-year debt restructuring plan for 3 major electricity distribution companies, DISCOs, Ikeja, Kano, and Jos. The figure comprises 128.60 billion naira in accrued interest on debts from 2015 to 2025 and 120.06 billion naira in historical principal obligations. The chairman of the subcommittee, Mark Obeta, says the recommendations, which follows the adoption of a report by its technical subcommittee, form part of broader legislative efforts to address legacy debts and restore financial stability in the electricity market. Odua Investment Company Limited and Energy Infrastructure Development Company, Electron Energy Development Strategies Limited, have entered a joint development agreement to develop a 50 megawatts gas-fired independent power plant. The group chairman of Odua Investment Company Limited, Otumba Bimbo Ashiru, says the project is a strategic move to tackle the energy bottlenecks stifling productivity for manufacturers.
The project will be developed through a special purpose vehicle, Ogba Power Limited. Odua Investment contributes the land approximately of 8,290 square meters at Cocoa Industry Limited complex, which has been valued and forms part of the equity for this project. Electron, with its proven technical and financial expert, leads the development, financing, and eventually operation of the plant. Our equity holding in this project is only 7%, while Electron holds 97%. And people will be wondering, why will you have 7% and Electron holding 7%? I always tell people that 1% of something is better than 100% of nothing. And I can tell you that Odua will have the right to inject funds in future once the project starts going on. Importantly, the project company will pay Odua Investment annual royalty fee of 3% of the gross revenue defined as gross electricity sales, less statutory traffic tariffs, and gas pass-through cost. This ensures that our shareholders benefit directly from the success of the project over the lifetime.
The domestic bourse closed positive for the 8th consecutive session today as investors extend strong demand for high-value equities. Ladi Williams has the details.
Well, the first full trading week of April just keeps giving, unlocking new levels of bullishness as the all-share index gives us another high. 211,000 points, never been hit before, first time. So we got new highs consecutively this week. Market cap, 136 trillion. Yesterday was a telco party with the likes of Airtel Africa and MTN Nigeria rising, but MTN Nigeria made another appearance today, rising about 2.45%. For the sectors that we track, oil and gas take to shine today, with Aradel gaining again, and also we did see joining the party the likes of Wando and corn oil. And it's a widely positive market breadth with 44 stocks gaining and 19 losers. TGIF trade tomorrow. We'll see what tomorrow brings.
Now let's have a look at the closing figures of some major global stock markets we track. And that's it on Business News. Back to Ayotunde for the rest of the news at 10.
Many thanks, Dominic. Samuel Pusey is up next with Around the World in 5 from our London studios.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has said the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz will last as long as it takes. The blockade aims to stop ships using Iranian ports. The US says 14 vessels have been forced to turn around since it began on Monday. In Lebanon, Israeli airstrikes have destroyed a key bridge linking the south with the rest of the country.
At the direction of President Trump, the War Department will ensure that Iran never has a nuclear weapon. Never. We'd prefer to do it the nice way, through a deal led by our great vice president and negotiating team, or we can do it the hard way. We urge this new regime to choose wisely.
Pope Leo has criticised leaders who spend billions on wars and said the world is being ravaged by a handful of tyrants in unusually forced comments during his visit to Cameroon. Speaking during a tour of a region ravaged by a deadly insurgency, the pontiff blasted those he said manipulated the very name of God for their own gain. The remarks come just days after a high-profile spat with US President Donald Trump, who posted a lengthy attack on the Pope, a vocal critic of the US and Israeli military operation in Iran. The Pope has voiced his concern about Trump's threat that a whole civilization will die if Iran did not agree to US demands to end the war and open the Strait of Hormuz. Turkish police have arrested 162 people accused of posting controversial content online about 2 deadly school shootings which took place this week. They were found to have engaged in posts and activities praising crime and criminals and negatively affecting public order. At least 16 people were injured in a shooting at a high school in the country's southeast on Tuesday, before another 9 were killed in a shooting at another school on Wednesday. Hundreds have gathered near the city's main mosque for the funerals of the young victims, which are being held today. A major fire at one of Australia's 2 oil refineries has been extinguished, but the damage has deepened fears over the nation's petrol supplies amid a global fuel crunch. Emergency crews rushed to Viva's Corio oil refinery, southwest of Melbourne, just before midnight local time, after reports of explosions and flames. The blaze was put out on Thursday after burning for 13 hours. No one was injured. The refinery, which produces 50% of Victoria's fuel and 10% of the nation's, is still partially operational, but the government has warned of impacts to petrol production.
In respect of count 1,
leading South African opposition politician Julius Malema has been sentenced to 5 years after being found guilty of the illegal possession of a gun and firing it in public. But the magistrate allowed the leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters and MP to appeal against the verdict and sentencing, meaning that he will not immediately be taken to prison. Earlier, standing in court in a dark suit and red tie, Malema showed little emotion as he was read out the sentence, even though his political future was at stake. China's economy has grown faster than expected in the first 3 months of the year, even as countries around the world feel the impact of the US-Israel war with Iran. Gross domestic product rose by 5% in the period, compared to a year earlier, according to official data. Economists had expected the figure to come in around 4.8%. That came despite the conflict in the Middle East, which started on the 28th of February, severely disrupting global energy supplies, with Asian countries hit particularly hard. It also marks the first release of official GDP figures since Beijing cut its annual economic growth target last month to a range of 4.5% to 5%.
For now 10 years, every day for 10 years, I've been bullied and attacked. And I was the most trolled person in the entire world, man or woman.
And the Duchess of Sussex has said that for 10 years she was the most trolled person in the entire world online. Speaking in Melbourne about the harms of social media alongside the Duke of Sussex, Meghan said she was bullied every day for a decade and that tech companies were not incentivised to stop their platforms being misused. The couple are in Australia on a 4-day tour as non-working royals and used a meeting on Thursday with representatives of a mental health programme to voice their support for the country's under-16 social media ban. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. World Athletics has denied Nigerian sprint star Favour Ofili approval to switch allegiance to Turkey. The decision followed a review of our application alongside 10 others submitted by the Turkish Athletics Federation ahead of the Los Angeles 2028 Olympic Games. World Athletics ruled that the transfer undermined the integrity of national competitions, discourages countries from developing homegrown talents, and put local athletes at risk. Meanwhile, the Athletics Federation of Nigeria has officially welcomed the 23-year-old back into its fold. And Super Eagles forward Victor Osimhen has returned to full training with Turkish double champions Galatasaray after a short injury layoff. Osimhen sustained an arm injury during Galatasaray's UEFA's Champions League clash at Liverpool last month. The former African Player of the Year thereafter underwent surgery which kept him out of action for 4 weeks. That sports is back to you, Ayo.
And the main news again. Suspected gunmen have abducted numerous JAM candidates from a Benue Links vehicle near Otukpo. Police confirmed 14 victims, while eyewitnesses reported 17 students seized during their exam commute. And the armed forces have graduated 744 former extremists and reaffirmed their commitment to national security through combined kinetic and non-kinetic strategies across Nigeria. And that's news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayo Tunde Balogun from everyone here. Do have a good night.